Er steht vielen neuen Bands zur Verfügung, im Moment Subway Sect.
Turn this up for the singing. Turn this up.
think they're like most songs. They're sort of, the words that are used in them aren't the sort of words that you usually get in rock records. They sort of take these, I write say an essay or something like that, and from that condense the words for a song. So it doesn't end up being sort of normal rock song, hopefully. It's formed about a year ago, exactly. And since then we've sort of been playing with different drummers. And playing with one drummer and then stopping for about 3 months. Because we'd never had one drummer that we liked.
Why do you play punk rock?
I don't really think we do. Exactly, we don't play what everyone thinks is punk rock. I think. We're more like sort of Buddy Holly, I reckon.
Auf demselben Gelände, über dem Übungsraum, wohnt Rodent. Rody und quasi 5. Mann von Clash.
Oh yeah, load of old bollocks. That's where we were. Load of old bollocks. That's what all the new bands are. Nearly all of them copy the Sex Pistols or the Clash. Half of them are jumping on the bandwagon, and they're a load of crap. There's a couple of good ones. The Slits, interview with them, singer's German, can speak to her. There's this group downstairs, Subway Sex, they're okay, they're a bit different. But most of them are all like the same. They're all, you just get bored watching them. It's like when it started, wanted lots of different sorts of groups, not lots of groups all trying to copy each other. That's why like Clash and Sex Pistols are the only two like of the old ones that were any good. All the rest sort of just copied.
What do you think about reggae music?
About what?
Reggae music.
Oh, Reggie.
I've seen it.
Green for the land, yellow for the sun that gives life to the land, red for the blood that was spilt for the land. It's great. Love it. I think it's like, it's good.
A lot of bands are influenced by reggae. What do you think about it?
Well, a lot of bands were influenced by the Clash and the Sex Pistols liking reggae. No, a lot of them didn't know what it was until sort of 10 months ago. All they thought reggae was I make da da dee da da. They thought it was all Desmond Dekker and things, but they sort of like, lots of them didn't bother with it until recently, when it became fashionable.
What have you done before you become a roadie of the Clash and the Pistols?
As little as possible. Unemployed most of the time. Didn't work, didn't like working. Shall I tell them I was in prison? 2 weeks. Yes.
And why?
For insurrectionary activities. Expropriation of substances from other people, richer people. Stealing. Political activities. That's what the Angry Brigade man said in court.
Well, for Sounds, being a paper that's geared to new music, to rock music, we became aware of the Sex Pistols, who were really the first band to open up the punk rock thing. The music papers, along with everybody else, was tired of the old game, the old music business game, and in consequence got very involved and very interested in punk rock. And Sounds was one of the first to really pick up on it and to explore it. And maybe, although this is more a case of the national press, to exploit it a bit. I mean, the national press have exploited punk for its sensation value, and the violence really stems from their coverage and the fact that they've only really given coverage to the more violent aspects, not to any of the ideals, and certainly not very much to the music at all. They fail to understand the music, and they fail to understand the ideals behind the change, because I guess it affects their readership. Their readership is basically the generation with which the punks are not, well, are disaffectionate. And in some cases, they have encouraged the violence between a non-existent group of TEDs. They're not really. There is no real TED movement as such. That whole movement died out in the 50s. That was when they reached their peak. That was when they were the new young rebels, and it's now just maybe even kids who've got nothing better to do on a Saturday other than go in search of some violence or something that will give them a chance to appear in the papers.
Well, we're Teddy Boys. We like rock and roll because we think there's never been a better music, and we like our style of dress because we think it's the best. I don't like punk rockers, but there'll always be fights between different factions. Let's face it, there's no war, so people have to. It's like, if you like, bulls and a herd fighting one another. It's human nature. People are different. I don't like them. They probably don't like me. So I don't care.
Why don't you like them?
Well, to me, they look effeminate. They don't look like they're going to even be men when they grow up. They look like some sort of third sex. It's weird. It's strange. They look like invaders from another planet or something. Very odd. They just... Their whole culture is alien to ours. It says it all. And the thing we don't like especially is that they copy some of our styles of dress, like they'll put a drape jacket on and then they rip it. You know? Stupid. And then they copy bits of our music and try and say it's new, and it just sounds like rock and roll played very badly to me. There's more and more Teddy Boys all the time. They just want to be different. They don't want to be like everybody else. And I think a lot of them, their parents were Teddy Boys. And they start talking about to their fathers, and they tell them how they used to get the clothes made and everything. And they want to be like their fathers, I think, maybe. It's 20 years ago. These guys will have children. The old Teddy Boys had children. I think these are a lot of the children.
We've been around a lot longer than anything else, any other form of dress or anything. And they've come along and saying, oh, we're white Teds out and we'll have punks everywhere. This Johnny Rotten, this the Jam, and all this shit, you know. And they're trying to put it across the country, starting in Britain, but we're not having it. That is why we give them a good hiding every time we meet them.
They
just to keep them off the streets.
Gear, like.
They can have their global village and all the places they go to, but when they start coming around this area and all these well-known church pubs, they get a good hiding. And that is us.
They claim they wear drapes because they tend to shock. They reckon it shocks people.
They're taking a mickey piss.
They reckon they wear the drapes because it shocks people. No way.
They're taking a mickey out of our music.
They shock people, right? Why do people don't even see us when we walk down the road? So they go on the dustbin liners, stupidly coloured hair. Why bother? There's no point in bothering. It makes them look silly little boys and girls, which they are.
They rip drapes up, don't they? They rip them up and
they got old creepers on and their socks, earrings, short hair. It all stems a bit of skin, a bit of Ted. They're taking the piss all the time. So everyone I see, bus along the road, in the swimming bars, I'll give him a good eye. You know, that's fine. Then he's got a bit of red in his hair, blood.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is it. They call it
shouting
music.
all the time.
Right.
They call it music.
What do they call it? Right, they call their dance. They reckon dancing is jumping up and down like they're on a pogo stick. Is that dancing? No, it ain't. What energy can you burn up through that?
And he had a dog collar on, with a dog's chain round his neck and a little bit of leather where you hold onto the dog light at the end, and he had tickets all stuck over him with safety pins, and he just had all his shirts ripped, everything, and there's nothing good about that, is there? They look idiots. Take Mickey all the time.
They basically started it by saying they're going to wipe Ted's out. Ted's live in the past. All right, fair enough, the style lives in the past, but Ted's live for today, in music today. Rock and roll still lives and always shall live. It started way back, what, 1940s? Something like that. In fact, it's one of those very first records, something about 47, 48, something like that. Okay, and it's been going from then, and it's going today, and it'll be going tomorrow, and 20 years hence. Right, punk rockers come along and say, okay, we're clever, we're big, we've got music. They may call it music, but it's not. They said they was going to wipe Ted's out. No way. That's why they get hiding. They get themselves beaten up because they reckon they're bigger than us.
The fights between Teds and punks, it's not a new thing in a way, really, because you used to have the fights with the mods and the rockers, and the skinheads and the Pakistanis. But in general, the youth of any generation, if there's not a war on, they like to use their aggression up some way at football matches and things like that. So they've got an ideal thing to have a go at, which is the punks, from Ted's point of view anyway. It's very difficult to sort of say that they just like fighting for the sake of fighting, but they feel as though they've got to use their energy on something.
Im angesehenen 100 Club nehmen die Jam, die sauberste Punkband, mit großem technischen Aufwand ihre erste Live-LP für Polydor auf. Alle ihre Konzerte sind ausverkauft, auch wenn der Saal doppelt so groß ist wie der hier.
Remember how great it should be. The thing what it was. Shots are full of passion. People told what they want. The street that was a part of the British monarchy. British monarchy. Who wants seconds and go back? We don't need to know. Or why should we accept the change of mind? Cause of today, kids are gonna change. Bring back the street, some still my own nation. Cannabis Street, Cannabis Street, Cannabis Street. The street is a mirror for our country. Reflects the rise and fall of our nation. Nation! The street that was a legend is a mockery, a part of the British tradition. Come down the train, you don't need no passport to see its faults. Take a walk along that street again. See what I mean? Cannabis Street, Cannabis Street, Cannabis Street, not what it used to be. Cannabis Street, not what it used to be. Cannabis Street, bells the disregard. Cannabis Street, bells the disregard. Cannabis Street, oh oh oh. Cannabis Street, oh 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 oh. Good old Slater, brother. Quite ironic, isn't it? No problems at Hammersmith. There's a tune you might know. I'll say like 1,000 birthdays, I'll shine your bright. I'll go to Christmas on the 25. We'll be watched there. We'll be going to town, God. About the old the tears. The battle is another surgery in time. Yeah! What you do, girl, you still think I'm crack. But you better listen, man, because it keeps no word inside. And I say there's 1,000 men universe. How come they now have the right to kill me? We watch there, we gonna tell it now. About the images. And the McDonald's is a food trial. In the city, in the city, in the city, in the city, in our city there's 1,000 things I wanna say to you.
Die kommerziell erfolgreichste New Wave Band sind die Stranglers. Ihre erste LP war die 8 erfolgreichste des Vorjahres. Die meisten Leute fragen sich jedoch, was die Stranglers außer ihrem Namen mit Punk gemein haben. Wir wollten sie dazu im Haus ihres PR-Managers Alan Edwards befragen. Sie weigerten sich jedoch.
Right, one of those. One of the pictures. Oh, they're going to do it? Hey, look, I'm not on it.
We want to stay. Why you don't want to stay in our movie?
Hey, right, give me a
we want only your statement why you don't want to stay in our movie.
Because I'm no prostitute.
And you don't do.
I don't want to sell any records in Germany. I want German bands to sell them in Germany.
And you hate Germans, you say?
Hey, majority, yeah.
Simply because we are Germans.
No, because simply because you take and you don't give, you've got a lot of responsibility to the idea of Europe, and you're just taking. I'll play to the people who want to hear us in Germany, but otherwise I couldn't care a fuck.
But a lot of people in Germany want to hear you and want to know something
then they're
about.
Going to hear us next week. They didn't want to hear us 9 months ago. See, I reckon I'm very suspicious of German motives. I reckon they're just a pose, you know. I don't believe they're genuine. Until they've proved themselves, then we don't want to know, you know.
I don't understand your arguments because...
No, you never do.
I think punk now's a joke, actually. I don't think it bears any resemblance to what it started out as, and I don't think it's fulfilled very many of its original aims in England anyway. I mean, it's been turned into a commercial carnival so quickly that the people who started it and people put the original ideas have lost control of what they're doing. Record companies and the music business in general and the media have cashed in on it so quickly, and they've taken everything out of it. They've taken the creativity, the ideas, the imagination out of it, and they put nothing back except money, and that has actually killed it. I mean, I think the people who are responsible for making punk rock what it is, or making punk rock, never envisaged what has happened now.
Yeah, they've lost out basically.
Yeah.
They started the whole thing, it was their ideas, and they've really lost out on all the benefits of it.
The people who put it together were like people like Andrew Sosowski, who opened the Roxy Club, people like that. They've been bought out by bigger concerns, by big companies, record companies. They've ended up with no money, nothing, and punk has been taken out as just another commodity to sell. So in a way it hasn't achieved any of its ideas. The original idea was to get away from the old music, selling a product.
The original thing for punk was that the kids could identify with it, they could talk, they could go up and talk to the bands
Right.
would go to the same places as they would, they could just see the bands all over the place. They weren't stars, but unfortunately it's very difficult because bands have got to get record company contracts, right? I mean, to be able to survive. And it's very difficult to see how they could have combined the two, you know, keeping it on the level with the kids and having the money, you know.
There's no way that punk could have stayed. As Magenta says, there's no way punk could have stayed as it was. Punk would have had to have evolved and become a big business. It's just unfortunate that it became a big business so quickly.
And it trod on so many people on the way up, that's the problem. You know?
And a lot of the people have proved that once they're successful, they're just as rich, and they're just as into being capitalists, and they're just as into making money and forget the people who put them there, as was the old generation of the old farts or whatever. So the new wave has quickly become exactly the same as the old wave.
In most cases. And unfortunately, I mean, the punk followers have got into the same thing as these sort of the old hippies, you know, the old farts. As Rotten says, you know, that they only accept their own kind, they're not tolerant to other people, which is what they should be. I mean, the whole thing about anarchy was that, you know, Rotten was saying personal anarchy. Right. You don't interfere in anybody else's business, you keep to what you want to do, and that's how you should go. And unfortunately, it hasn't turned out like that. He's the only person that's kept doing it, really.
The whole thing about punk rock was it didn't matter whether you were black, it didn't matter whether you're white, it didn't matter whether what your hair was, what you looked like, whether you're ugly, rich, poor or pretty. But already there's a snobbery within punk where
you've got to look a
you've got to have short hair, you've got to have tight trousers, you've got to have plastic clothes or whatever. And already they're as bad as the people with long hair who said that you couldn't be fashionable if you had short hair and this sort of thing. So it's a shame that punk has it's not fulfilled a lot of its original aims, in a nutshell. And that's it, the cynic's view of punk rock. What next?
Yeah, what next?
I say there's 1,000 things I wanna say to you, but I have a right person, you never look a fool. I wanna say, I wanna tell you about the young ages, about the time the days. I say there's 1,000 things that shine bright, as good as Christmas on the 25th. When we watch it, when we gonna tell that about the old ages, about this another surgery top. Yeah!
Im Marquis spielen heute die Boomtown Rats. Obwohl an der Tür 700 Leute wieder weggeschickt werden müssen, ist es im Club so heiß und eng, dass der Sänger später auf der Bühne ohnmächtig wird.
It's like, you just go down somewhere like the Vortex and that, and you listen to half the groups and you see how boring they are, and you find out that most people will be put to sleep by it all. It's just a couple of good bands, and that's it. They'll go and make a lot of money and make a lot of music, and the rest will fade away and die. All the high-blown ideals disappeared years ago. That shocked you. You didn't expect that.
They become very watered down.
Yeah.
We're going to Germany the next month. Do you have any idea about Germany?
Yeah, they're all rich in Germany. Lots of Deutschmarks. Apart from these three. Yeah, no, don't know. I only know about... The only things I bother reading about Germany about the RAF, because they're interesting, but reading about Willy Brandt and Chancellor Smith or whoever they all are is boring. So very efficient country, we're told. Very efficient.
I met him and he met me, and then he met him and we met him, right? Then we both bumped into him.
Got that? Yeah. Right. That's how we met.
It was coincidence.
And then we all met him together.
And here we are. And then he met.
Fucked up.
And then we met him coming in there.
That was the worst time.
That's when we started.
No, we formed about a year ago. Yeah. 2 years ago, wasn't it? No. People ask us this question all the time, you know. I'd say 18 months. 18 months, right? Can't you nick my fucking phone bag again? Wait, Roland, come on.
Essen.
Yeah. A bit of drink.
We haven't ate since we've been here. We've been here 3 days. We haven't had a thing to eat yet.
You don't want people. Come on.
You had a lot of trouble in Germany.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. I never want to come back here again. It stinks.
I do though.
Unless we're at war.
It's great. So far.
What do you
But
think
it's
of the
like,
German bird?
been in hotels and it's been really horrible. People, a lot of older people have been very sort of like nasty to us. They're not sort of helping us at all. But it's the young people who are great. They're great at like the concert tonight.
They throw us
The
in the
reaction.
fucking slammer. They ain't got a fucking hotel for us. The gigs are fucking
Yeah,
useless.
we ain't got a
Everyone's
hotel.
asleep.
We got the police came round, dragged us out from the hotel. You know, I mean, we really want to like Germany. Yeah, well, I do anyway. I think it looks great. all the world. By Christmas.
Depends if we can get a hotel or not.
Yeah. A hotel. A kingdom for a hotel. The group for a hotel.
Gary,